Whether you're planning to move to Northeast Tennessee or you're just planning a visit to check the area out, you probably have a lot of questions. Well, you're in luck because today Shad and I are going to answer the top questions that people most often ask when they're inquiring about Northeast Tennessee. We're here at our home, we're going to have a cup of coffee, keep it casual, and hopefully have a little fun too. You ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going to answer these in no specific order or of importance or anything like that. But when people are visiting the area, they often ask, how long should I visit? And you want to start with that one?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I mean, I think a minimum of 2 days, 3 to 4 is probably enough as well. Some people will interchange their vacation time with seeing family close by or go to Pigeon Forge for a day or two with the family, stuff like that while they're here. We want people to have fun while they're here and enjoy the area. So whether they want to do some activities like hiking or things of that nature, it could extend their time here. But a couple days is a kind of a minimum, only because we have self-guided driving tours that we will give out to people who are interested in certain areas of our region. So it gives you some time to get out and about. We'll give you some lists and recommendations of some restaurants and some things like that to enjoy your tours as well.
I'm in agreement with that. I would say 4 days is perfect, especially if you're flying in. You fly in, usually get here a little later. If you're wanting to meet with us, we try to get you scheduled the next morning, and then you can get out and start exploring the area for a couple days, and then usually you're traveling home the 4th day. Yeah. So our next question is relating to hospitals, and it's kind of a two-part question because some people say, where can I live and be close to Johnson City Medical and or the James H. Quillen VA Hospital? Now I want to add to this that if you're close to those hospitals, and let's say 15-20 minutes when people say close, they're also going to be close to the Franklin Woods Community Hospital, the Niswonger Children's Hospital, and the MedTech corridor. So you're going to have all that close to you. Where would you recommend that they live? They want to be 15-20 minutes. Obviously Johnson City, but some of the other towns.
Yeah, some of the other small towns close by would include Jonesboro. Most of Jonesboro would be within that radius. Gray on the north side of Johnson City. To the south, we have Irwin, which, hop, skip, and a jump on the interstate would get you there in 20-25 minutes. Parts, including the western side of Elizabethton, would get you there, and Piney Flats as well, kind of making a big circle around Johnson City.
Now, some people just ask, where can we live within the Savin County area in Northeast Tennessee and be, 30 minutes to any hospital? Mm-hmm. So the good news is we have several hospitals here. Not only do we have the hospitals in Johnson City, we've got, Kingsport's got 2 hospitals, Bristol has a hospital, Greenville, Elizabethton, Rogersville, Mountain City has a 2-bed hospital. So a good portion of the area, you could be 30 minutes or less to a hospital. Where can I live and be 20 minutes, a 20-minute drive to grocery stores, shopping, all those things that you need day to day?
Well, if you're going to include Dollar General, it's anywhere. But most of our location, 15 to 20 minutes would get you to most smaller grocery stores or whatnot if you're up in the mountains, things of that nature. Worst case scenario is probably about a 30-minute drive. We've talked to a lot of people, especially from out west, Wyoming, states like that, where they've got it an hour and a half drive. That's not really the case here when it comes to that.
Yeah, and obviously Johnson City, Bristol, and Kingsport, they have the most to offer as far as retail stores, grocery stores, and so forth. But even like Elizabethton and Greenville, they got the Marshalls and the Ross or the TJ Maxx, the Walmart, Lowe's. So again, you can live in a lot of areas here and still be close to everything that you need. Mm-hmm. So that's good news. Yes. Okay, where could I live and have mountain views?
Almost anywhere, really. The thing about our topography really is we have the main crest of the Appalachian Mountains, and we have some other mountain ridges in our area. But then we also have some smaller ridges that sometimes will block your view, depending on your small elevation change between where you live and where that ridge line comes into play. But really, even if you can't see it from your house, if you're just driving home, you're going to the grocery store, going to the doctor, more than likely mountain views are going to be in play for sure.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere that you drive, you're going to see mountain views, and they're going to change. For instance, over in Greenville, these sweeping mountain views. In Elizabethton, you're kind of surrounded by the mountains, so you're going to see different versions of mountain views. Sad to say, we don't really have a mountain view from our home, but we can just walk up about 3-4 houses
Yeah.
and have a mountain view. So we could walk in our neighborhood and see mountains. So there are mountains all over.
I know everyone wants mountain views for the most part moving here, but you're not always going to get that at your house. But you also sometimes can have wide, expansive, open views of the countryside, which is just beautiful just in itself. But with that being said, most of the time, if you just get out and about, you're going to see mountains.
The next question, where are the good schools? And we get this all the time, and that's very subjective because I grew up and went to a city school, I had big graduating class. And you grew up in, what was your class? How many people were in your class?
44.
Yeah. But we both loved our experience in high school and graduating. And you have a few notes about our schools.
Yeah, I want to say is, to each their own kind of a thing is that you make your own education, put a little responsibility on yourself to learn. I loved my experience growing up in a small town with a small school. But obviously you're going to have more opportunities for more foreign languages to take and stuff of that nature in bigger schools. I feel like you can get lost a little bit in a bigger school. It's not as intimate of a setting. So I'm more of a country school kind of guy myself. But I can't obviously blame anyone when it comes to wanting to go to the city schools and having more opportunities for their kids. With that being said, there are some online platforms that we have links to that we can provide for our clients to show different ratings. Now, be prepared to understand that those ratings are based off of different criteria. Sometimes it's the diversification of the student population. It's how much financially the kids in that school district can afford. It's the curriculum itself. There's a lot of different varying criteria when it comes to rating schools. So I would highly suggest don't just go with one online platform.
And we'll put a few of those websites up here on the screen too when we do the editing. And so you could check those out. But there's a lot of them. And another thing you'd brought up the other day, a lot of buyers will actually make an appointment to go visit the schools and meet with somebody. And we highly recommend that. And we see a lot of people that also send kids to private schools. We do have private schools here. And a lot of people that homeschool, and there are great programs for that too. So I think it's just all in what you want for your children because...
Yeah, to each their own kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
Sure.
And we have schools that are rated very, very high in the area. But I think the websites will help, visiting a school, and you'll get your answers.
Sure.
What's right for you and your children. Mm-hmm. So people say, next question, I'm worried about crime. I think the crime in Johnson City is really high.
Well, as real estate agents, we can't really discuss it, and there's a good legal reason for it. There's fair housing laws, and so as a real estate professional, we can't say stay out of this neighborhood and go over here. It's called steering. It's illegal. I will go to jail for it. So, and one of the another term that's used in the business is redlining. That's more on the lending side of things, but that's more of, if you can think of, I won't loan on a home on the other side of the tracks, kind of a thing. But with that being said, we also, again, just like with the schools, we offer links to the FBI websites, to the local police departments, so people can make that decision for themselves. I can say overall, though, crime to us doesn't feel to be a significant factor of living here from a standpoint of we still consistently are on top 10 list of places there are people moving to, and that includes crime. So we don't necessarily have a problem with it, but we know it's a concern for people, and that's why we will provide those links for them to do their research.
And also, we have worked with several police officers, people that have worked within the prison systems throughout the country, government officials that could not wait to relocate here. And so I think that speaks volumes. And I think visiting here, again, we can't urge you enough to visit. Visit, get to know the area, immerse yourself, when you're going over to have Auntie Ruth's Donuts or whatever you do, because people are going to want to chat with you and you're going to learn a lot that way.
I would also say one more thing. If I was a criminal, I would not move to an area like this. We do believe in the Second Amendment, and it probably wouldn't be wise if I was a criminal to move to an area like this.
Okay, so next questions relate to weather. Okay, how much snow do you get? Should I bring my snowblower? I just added that snowblower one. Well, you know what? We just had snow the other day, the second week of November. That's very unusual.
Yeah.
Pretty much kind of just a dusting.
Yeah.
Maybe some other areas got a little more. And then when you get to Roan Mountain and Mountain City, higher elevations, they had a lot more. But on average, we get about 11 inches of snow annually. And what does that look like? A dusting, inch here. Ooh, we got 4 inches. That's a big, snowstorm. The school's closed for about any reason. But, you could have temperatures that are 30 and then it could be 65 the next day. So most of the winter, there is no snow on the ground.
Yeah, and sometimes if everything works out right too, the temperature change, it typically will get above freezing either that day or the next day. So a lot of times it doesn't stick to the pavement or the sidewalks, but if it does, it will melt off pretty quick. So what we like here is we love to see snow. Maybe it'll snow you in for a day or two, especially if you have kids going to school. But then it goes away pretty quick.
Oh, and I didn't answer the snowblower question.
Oh.
If you're coming from the Northeast, a lot of people, should I bring my snowblower? Well, it's up to you. We shovel about 2 or 3 times, if that, a year. But, if you have it, you can bring it. I don't know how much you'll use it.
If you have room for it, bring it. You might use it once a year, once every other year, but that's probably about it. Yeah.
Okay, next, relating to weather, is it humid in the summer?
It can be. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, and it gets humid there as well. We know a lot of people from like Florida, for instance, that they deal with a totally different kind of humidity than we do here for most part. But I feel like too is that a lot of days when it gets up into the 90s or it's a humid day, a lot of times at night it will cool off and it will get into like the high 60s at night. So you can still have a restful sleep and not worry about that lingering throughout the night as well. So I don't think it's that big a deal here. Some people complain about it, maybe that have lived here their whole lives. But if you've come from other areas of the country, we don't really have a lot of humidity here, in my opinion.
Not compared to the South.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question, how much rain do you get? Well, I looked this up. We get a fair amount of rain, and that's why it's so green and beautiful here. But we get, Tennessee in general gets about 50 inches annually. And as a comparison, because I lived in Washington State, which when I think about Washington State, rainy, dreary, I mean, it's beautiful there, it's really green, but there's drizzly, rainy days that go on forever. Washington State gets 39 inches annually, average, which I was surprised. But it went on to say that, they don't have the kind of rain that we do where, you have a good rainstorm and then it's over. We don't have all these misty, dreary days. So we do have a fair amount of rain, but we have a lot of sunshine too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of times that we'll schedule to go golf on a weekend or something. There's a lot of times that we don't have to cancel our plans because of rain. Sometimes we do. The mountains are considered a temperate rainforest, So that's something to consider, and that's why it's so green around here most of the year and until wintertime. But we get a decent amount of rain for sure.
Okay, and the next question relating to weather, of course, this one always comes up. Do you get tornadoes? Yes, we do, but not very many over here in the northeast corner of Tennessee. And I'm going to show the tornado map where you can see very few tornadoes in the northeast corner of Tennessee, and then it really picks up. It picks up pace when you cross the state. Now, I've been here about 20 years, and I remember 2 tornadoes in that time over here. One in Kingsport, I think like 10 years ago, and one in Greenville in the Camp Creek area, and that's probably 15 years ago. So I believe those are the only 2 tornadoes here in northeast Tennessee.
I haven't experienced one. I've been here a little over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see most thunderstorms and the severe ones that come through the state. You can see them come across the state. Now, Tennessee is a very long, elongated state. It takes a long time to go from Memphis, which they're part of the tornado alley in that area. But once it gets to about the Cumberland Gap area, which is kind of just slightly west of Knoxville, a lot of times you'll see the storms start breaking up a little bit and losing maybe a little bit of that energy. So that's why when it gets past Knoxville and more towards us, you see quite a few less numbers of tornadoes that have touched down.
Next question, how much will I be paying for taxes?
If it's up to the government, a lot. We're one of those states, only 7 states, I think, in the country that have no income tax. So tax burden wise, obviously, we're one of the lowest on tax burden to its citizens in the country. Cost of living here is one of the drivers for people that want to move here.
So as far as like property taxes, though,
we have a general rule of thumb just to kind of estimate your taxes here. If you're out in the county, you only have to pay close to about 0.5% of the value of your home or the assessed value of your home. If you're in the city, you do pay both city and county tax. So it's kind of the doubling in that situation. So it's close to about 1% of the total assessed value of your home is pretty much what your property taxes are going to be.
and they're pretty conservative with their assessments.
Yeah, our assessors here aren't very aggressive at all. I'm from Indiana. I did real estate there. I did some appraising as well there. And so I had to know all of those things for my job there. And it was a totally different story in that area when it comes to that.
Yep. You probably, there's in many cases, depending on the state you're moving from, you're going to pay less taxes, just in general, overall. What kind of things are there to do in Northeast Tennessee? I've heard people say they thought they were going to be bored, but they weren't bored at all. First of all, when you look at the mountains, the lakes, the rivers, the rolling hills, the 4 moderate seasons, I mean, there's so much to do outside. Hiking, biking, camping, fishing, golfing. I could just go on and on. This is a kind of like a mecca for, outdoor activities. But then you have 5 historic towns. So if you like to just learn about history or have a cup of coffee or go to the little festivals or the live music, we have places like the Nicewag Performing Arts Center, all different, theaters, plays, musicals. I mean, Christmas is coming up. We've got 9 parades, Candyland Christmas, Shadrack's Light Show, Bristol Motor Speedway. I mean, I could go on. And then, you travel an hour and a half. Oh, I'm at Dollywood. I'm at the Biltmore. There's plenty to do.
Oh, totally agree.
Yeah.
Especially from spring to fall. You can't go a weekend without a festival or some gathering or something happening in certain towns around here.
Then you've got the winter to recuperate and rest. You could just stay inside and in front of your fireplace. Okay. Here's a good one. Do you have a lot of bugs and snakes in Northeast Tennessee? Why don't you talk about bugs and I'm going to talk about my enemy's snakes?
Sure, we have bugs. Everyone has bugs. What I have found in my experience, again, is that we had more mosquitoes where I came from than we do here. I remember a gentleman moved here and had a mosquito trap, one of those that you put a propane tank in and stuff. And he said, that thing can clear an acre of mosquitoes. And I said, well, you probably won't need that here. You might want to just sell it. And he's, oh, no, that thing works great. And I checked back with him 6 months later, and he said he saw one mosquito since he's lived here. So we don't have a considerable amount of mosquitoes here. We do in certain areas if you're closer to water or wherever water can retain itself in ponds and stuff like that, you might get some more. But when it comes to mosquitoes, we really don't have that big of an issue here, which was a surprise to me because of all of the natural beauty around here. I thought there would actually be more. But we have, all kinds of bugs that are typical just about anywhere.
But you don't, we've mentioned this, is when you're driving, you don't have all these bugs on your windshield,
True,
which
true.
you will see in some states, when you're traveling. I didn't really think about it till you brought that up. Now, the other thing people ask about all the time are snakes. And I looked this up. States with the most snakes: Texas, Mississippi, Arizona, Louisiana, Georgia, Missouri, and Florida. States with the highest number of venomous snakes: Arizona, Florida, and Texas. I don't even think Tennessee was in the top 10. So stop worrying about snakes. I mean, we've got snakes, but you may be moving from a place that has a lot more snakes. I don't see snakes every time I go out. I don't think I've ever seen a snake since I've been here. I did see where a snake, what do you call it, slothed off its skin or whatever, and I'm still recovering from that. That's like 10 years ago. I mean, that just gave me the creeps. But yeah, you're not going to worry. Well, maybe, if you're walking in tall grass, you're out in a farm, you're hunting, I would be aware. I'd be, careful about snakes. But that's not something like I lived in Arizona, totally, totally different. Or Florida, they got those pythons.
Yeah, I actually golfed in Arizona once, and I went to go get my ball that didn't make the fairway, and there was a sign there that said, rattlesnake habitat beware. There are no signs like that here on these golf courses, but you do need to be aware, obviously, of your surroundings, no matter where you are. So we have some, but it definitely, like you said, we're not one of the top states.
Yeah, we're not ranked up there high for snakes. Okay, here's a big one. Last question. Do the locals welcome people moving from out of state to this area?
For the most part, yes, absolutely. We are in the South here, and Southern hospitality is a real thing. I've experienced, I know a lot of our clients have experienced it. They do welcome you with open arms here, for sure. One of the things that's just, they hesitate a little bit sometimes is where you're coming from. We don't want it to change here. We like the way it is, and that's the draw for a lot of people to move here, is the way that it is. That doesn't mean that we're not experiencing growth and maybe some growing pains with the growth and that sort of thing, but they just don't want it to change. You're more than welcome to move here, but if you want to move here to make it the way it was where you come from, that's not a winning formula here.
Yeah, and I would say don't go by comments in social media. And I don't care if that's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. I mean, I think most of us know by now that is not a measure of the average person. Yeah.
No, we'll have negative comments on this video.
Yeah,
we have them on
yeah.
all of our videos, just
Yeah.
like most on social media or whatnot. There's some cruel people out there that want to make a statement, but I really kind of we'll tell people, well, where is it better? Where is it cheaper? Where is it better with people, with housing, expenses, and stuff like that? You tell me where it's better, and we'll highlight that for you.
We might even move there.
Right.
No. But yeah, people are wonderful here. And like we said earlier, you've got to visit. You got to visit, and that tells you everything. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully we've answered some or all the questions that you have about Northeast Tennessee. I'm Stephanie and this is Shad, and we're with the FREC group at Greater Impact Realty. Our team specializes in helping people like you that are moving across the country. And if you have questions, you may have more questions, give us a call, text, or email. A member of our team would be happy to help you. If you want to learn more about the area, subscribe and follow our YouTube channel, Living in Johnson City, Tennessee. And you also can follow us on our podcasts, Apple and Spotify now. And like we always say, it is never too soon to start planning your move. We hope to see you here real soon.